Kia ora, and thanks for making the time to come and kōrero to us and listen in and absorb all of the work that Ngā Matapihi's been doing on this workforce model for Māori. I'm going to open us up with karakia, and then I'm going to hand to Marama to introduce herself. We might do a quick round of whanaungatanga just to say hi, who you are and where you're from, and then we'll get into the whakapapa of the piece of work and then get into the meat of what's been created. So opening us up with karakia. Kia kotahi i ngā pūkinga me ngā whakaro, hei tiaki i ngā whānau mā ngā mahi hauhora, me mahi tahi tātou mā te katoa, haumi e hui e tai ki e.
Tai ki e.
Kia ora marama.
Tēnā koutou katoa. Ka haia tiata, ka hapara tiata, koro ki taku manu whakamihi, ka awa te ati hei Moriora. Tū mai rā te ahu pataki, hora mai whakaraupo moana, tā koto kau pūrau whenua, tōku tūranga waiwai e. Ko marama baka hau, tēnā koutou katoa. So to start off, I just did a mihi to Te Ahu Pātaki, which is the maunga out to my left. I can kind of see it from where I'm sitting, so that's an absolutely beautiful start to my day. I am a consultant. I work in I have been working in 3 different PHOs, and I also work in our communities, providing professional development and cultural awareness sessions, and I'm a bit of a as needed type of person. So I go into workplaces, support them in their mahi, and then move on to the next thing. That's kind of where I'm at in my mahi. I'm from an education background, so I've been in educational leadership for the last 20 years, and made the move into health just recently, in the last sort of 6 months. So it's a really exciting space to be in, and beautiful to meet you all today. So yeah, agreed, Jess. I just want to mihi to you. Thank you for inviting me in for this hui. Yeah, I think it's going to be great for us to all have some kōrero about supporting Māori within the health workforce, to be the very best people they can. So yeah, would love to do a bit of a mihi so I can get to know you guys and you can all get to know each other. So Jess, I'll let you do the
coordination. I feel like this is always the hardest job, right? So we're going to try and get through this pretty speedy, team. So who you are, where you're from, and if you'd like to do a sentence or two on what excites you about this kaupapa, then feel free to. Marama was contracted by Ngā Matapihi o Te Wairua and GPNZ to produce this piece of work, and we're super excited to be sharing it with the HR leads of PHOs today. So yeah, kia ora Marama, and we'll start with you, Carol. Kia ora.
Tēnā koutou, Carol Murphy, South Canterbury Primary and Community Services, and so I'm just here to absorb it all. Very excited to share in this piece of mahi. And shall I pass over?
Yeah, awesome.
Okay, to Trudy.
The elusive mic button. Tēnā koutou katoa, ko Trudy Price takunua, ko no People and Capability Manager for Nelson Bay's Primary Health in mahi. So yeah, just brilliant timing. I think we've all got to focus on equity, which also means how do we connect our workforce and grow our workforce to be better equipped and supported within that space. And yeah, so just here to absorb, learn and integrate as well into our organisation to help us all move forward. Thank you.
Thanks.
And I'll go to Melissa Grant.
Morena koutou, ko Wairua, ko Ngāpui te iwi, ko Mel Grant toku ingoa. So kia ora, my name is Mel. I work for Whakarongoro Aotearoa, which is the National Telehealth Service, as the head of Māori Service Development. I've just recently joined Ngā Matapihi, so I can't take any credit for any input into the model. all the work that Marama has done, but really excited to be here alongside two of my colleagues. So I'll pass it on to Ashley.
Morena koutou, ko Ashley Taka Ingoa. I'm the head of people and culture at Whakarongaro Aotearoa with Mel. And yeah, like others, just really here to absorb. It sounds really exciting, so it should be good. And I'll pass on to my lovely colleague Emma.
Kia ora, thanks Ashley. Like Melissa and Ashley are here from Whakarongaro, and again here to absorb, learn more about the mahi that you guys do so that we can take it into the pathways that we're leading towards as well at Whakarongaro. Kia ora. I'll pass over to Richard Maxwell.
Morning everybody. Richard Maxwell, HR Lead Tour Compass Health in Wellington. I've been in the role nearly 2 years, and I actually started my career at another PHO, which was much smaller. Yeah, really excited about this work. Been doing a lot of work with actually my colleague here, Justine Timoana-Nui, who I'll pass over to.
Ngā Māori ora whānau, I Justine Timoana-Nui Makiriria hau. The bones are from Wairua, Parihau, Hauraki e Waikato Tainui, but work for Two Ora Compass Health, based in the Porirua office, and we're, work really closely with Richard, looking after staff coming in, but also how do we support our GP staff to build those cultural safety awareness and their mahi. So yeah, looking forward to the kōrero marama, ngā mihi. I'll hand over to Sarah Mitchell.
Kia ora. I'm Sarah. I'm with Pegasus Health, based in Christchurch, and our organisation has begun some work in this space with our equity team, and which was being led by Iri, who's now moved to Health Hawke's Bay. So really looking forward to really looking forward to hearing, and learning more from this group. And thanks for including me. Sorry, I'm going to pass it on to who we're not. Oh, Kaz.
Kia ora everyone, Kaz Phillip from Well South in Otipoti, Dunedin. Yeah, it's a great journey, so thanks for inviting us onto the waka, and we can go in this good direction. Looking forward to today. Thank you. And I'll pass on to Bill.
Te hei Māori ora, ko Billy Shimbak Takawingoa, ko Kai Whakahari, Waitaha Primary Health here in Otatahi. We also have we are also fortunate to have Marama with us, generally 1 day a week, but it seems to be a little bit more than that at the moment, but that's adding support to us. So key things for me, equity, strengthening our partnerships, addressing workforce, and not forgetting the need for greater rural support to drive equity of some of our population. So pleased to be involved, and apologies up front. I need to leave at 10:45 for a plane. So if I bow out before this is finished, my apologies. Cheers. I'll hand over to Moore.
Kia ora koutou, ko Maura Thompson Tukunua. I'm the CEO of GPNZ, and it's a real pleasure to see this group together. I particularly want to awhi Marama for the amazing work that she's done to get us to this point. Workforce besides primary care is my passion. And I think there's so much potential to keep building on the mahi that Marama has done for us, and look forward to more connections like this to keep progressing it. Kia ora. I will hand over to Kim.
Me.
Hi.
Kia ora whānau. Ko Kimi Takuingoa. Sorry, I thought, gee, that's my name. Here, uri ahau no Ngāti Parauki Hauraki, me Ngāti Maniapoto, me Ngāti Uinuku Kōpako o Te Aroa. I'm the Hauora Māori manager here at Pegasus, and this is my 3rd week in the job. Yeah. I haven't died. So kia ora whānau.
You want to hand that rākau over, Kim?
Oh, Who wants to go next? I actually can't see much.
I think Bonnie does because they're putting on their
Okay.
camera. Oh no.
Bonnie, you look. Who's after me?
I'll go. It's Tammy here.
Okay, thanks,
I'll
Tammy.
step in. I was just trying to see who's actually gone or not. It's quite difficult
Yeah.
when there's a big meeting. So it's good to see some familiar faces in this hui. Kei te mahi aho ki Pinnacle Health. Hey, Director of Organisational Development aho. Ko Tammy Hebditch aho, and kia ora e te whānau. I'm here to listen and learn. So I love to learn new things. We're obviously applying a lot of Te Awa Māori initiatives within our organization and supporting our practices to develop as well. Kia ora.
Kia ora. Ayla, do you want to jump in?
Kia ora tātou e te whānau, ko Ayla Takaingoa. I am the Healthy Lifestyles Program Manager here on the west coast of the South Island for our PHO. Really excited to be here and understand a little bit more in leading in this equity space with our workforce and how we can support that, particularly in a rural setting that we are. So kia ora, thank you so much for the invitation. I will pass over to Irma.
Yeah, kia ora. I'm Irma Harris from Te Awa Kaurangi Health Network based in Lower Hutt, so we look after the Hutt population. HR falls under my mandate. We did a cultural audit of the organisation last year, and we're also now trying to align HR policies right from sort of recruitment, advertising to ensure that it's culturally appropriate. So looking forward to finding out other ways that we can also support various workforce. It'd be great. Thank you.
Kia ora. Mihi, are you in a position to kōrero and introduce yourself?
Yeah, from a car, sorry, aroha nai whānau. Just coming in between meetings and I actually have to pop out at 10:30. But kia ora koutou, ko mihi Blair toko ingoa no Ngāti Whātua te iwi he mana whenua hau ki Tamaki Makaurau. I'm the GM Māori and Equity at ProCare, but I'm also co-chair of Ngā Matapihi. So I've been through this journey in terms of focusing on our workforce for Māori and health, with a very, very low portion of Māori in the workforce, and also in Tamaki Makaurau, where most of Māori are living from Mātāwaka, from all iwi around Tamaki, around Aotearoa. It's really important that this type of work is being taken place, not just in Tamaki Makaurau, but across Aotearoa. Just be real, my whakaaro as co-chair, we've worked really hard on this kaupapa because we feel that it's always important to start from a place of focusing on the whānau and what the systems can do to put whānau at the centre of the mahi of all we do. And one in particular area is our workforce kaupapa, is to ensure that the pathway for our whānau is not only aspirational, but also there's major leadership involved with our Māori. They're in the health sector, continuing in the future, but also we know that when you see our own leaders going through such a workforce such as in health, we know that our tamariki and our mokopuna will follow us, and so we want to show our people, our sector, that this is the best place to actually work in, even the hardest place to ever work in, but the best sector that we want to bring our whānau into for future years. So thanks everyone for coming. There's no ProCare is not even on here, so I'm going to go track Matt down and see the heck yeah, he is. So kia ora everyone.
Kia ora. And Bonnie, we can see you now. Kia ora.
Oh, kia ora. Aroha mai for being late and then having technical difficulties. Kia ora, ko Bonnie Takaingoa. I'm the HR lead at Health Hawke's Bay in Napier, Hastings, wider Hawke's Bay area. And just, I won't take up too much time. Great to be here and looking forward to learning a lot more. Cheers.
Kia ora.
Kia ora.
Thank you, lovely to have you here. And kia ora, Josephine, are you in a position to kōrero? Or are you just listening in?
Just listening. I'm in a bit of a noisy office, I think, so you might get my background noise. Or am I quite clear?
You're good. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Kia ora tātou. I'll leave my video off though. Things and the thing. But I'm the business manager for Auditour.
Kia ora. Lovely to have you here today. All right. I think, is that everyone? Have we missed anyone off? It's always the awkward moment. All right, sounds good. Looks good. Marama, back over to you for the whakapapa of this kaupapa. You're on mute, Ehua.
Finished half my kōrero and you can't even hear me. First of all, I just want to say that this rōpū here is so exciting right now. I don't know whether this is a one-off or whether you're going to continue to build this team, but already I'm just like, oh my gosh, this group of people can become really integral to the change making that we need to have within our system. And I can see that already. I can see that by you being here, by you already contributing, and having people like you in the seats in HR means that there is an easier pathway for Māori when they enter the workforce to get to those top seats. And that is the focus for all of us, is to get Māori at the table, making sure that they have the capabilities and the skills to be able to sit there in their mana, being supported and being heard. And that is the most important thing, because nothing will ever change if the top stays the top and Māori are just sort of included around the bottom. Okay, so what I'm seeing here is a really powerful start to a movement, I think, of ensuring that Māori are sitting at the right tables, or that Māori are creating the tables where other leaders are invited to sit. So I just want to say, woohoo, carry on this awesome mahi. As I go, feel welcome to write notes. It is being recorded, so you will be able to go back. The first thing I want to say, and this is the most important thing, if you ignore the rest of the session, I just want you to remember this. In terms of the kupu HR, I'm loving hearing that people were changing it to people and culture, and there's lots of other words. And what I want to really reiterate is that humans are not resources. Humans are taonga, and our Māori in our workforce are taonga. They are not there to be used as resources. They're there as whole, complete people with a whakapapa of 180 years of repression. So any Māori that are in our workforce, we need to remember, and those of us in this rōpū who are Māori know that we are working inside a system that has been built for and by Pākehā. Okay, so I'm going to start off really tūturu, but that is part of my role. So all Māori who are working in the health workforce are working under a Pākehā system of health. So our job is to support our Māori staff members to have dual capabilities. So be able to stand tall and proud in te ao Māori, not just when they turn up at work or not just when they go home, but as a whole person in their mahi and at home. And also helping, giving our Māori staff opportunities to develop other capabilities in terms of being able to write action plans in English, being able to present things like this. So dual capabilities is an extra layer that Māori need to bear the weight of working in the workforce, just if that kōrero kind of makes sense. So not only do we need to be able to be competent in te ao Pākehā, being able to read all of the resources, engaging in all the PD, which is all delivered in English. So we need to be capable there, but we also have this huge weight on our shoulders to carry the aspirations of Māori as a group of people individually in our localities. So it's a huge role, it's a huge privilege and challenge for Māori to be in the health workforce. So I just wanted to start there. Humans are not resources, humans are taonga. Kia ora. So working with GPNZ and Ngā Matapihi o te Wairua, we looked at creating a resource that can support people who are working with Māori to ensure that there is a pathway through the workforce, and that no matter where you are in that pathway, there are appropriate supports so that our Māori staff can grow to be the very best they can there. So Jess, I'll get you just to put up the front page of the document. So we used the koru as a representation of the journey that is undertaken through Māori who enter the workforce. So each of you probably will be involved in different parts of this journey in your role. Not all of you will be involved in all of these steps within your organisation, and that's beautiful, kei te pai, but it's still important that all of these are on here. So what we did, the main heading is to the strategies that empower the Māori workforce through their professional career in healthcare. So it's about getting Māori into our workforce, into the health workforce, keeping them there and developing them so that they can be sitting at the top tables. For those who have those leadership desires. It's also about our Māori staff who are really happy on the ground and who love working with our people in the grassroots, supporting them as well, because we know not everybody wants to be a leader, not everybody is comfortable being in the front, but there is a place for everybody. And it's about knowing our staff so well that they can tell us where they want their place to be within their workforce, and us providing opportunities so that they can achieve that, no matter what that looks like. What I do want to just say is please jump in, especially Jess, Mihi, anyone else who was involved in this, please do just jump in. This is a starting point. So what we see this tool is doing for you in your mahi as HR professionals is sitting down with this document and then creating your own. So this would be a tool to get you thinking about the policies and the processes and the guidelines that you have in place. The second thing it does is ensure that it's linked to whakamaua, pai ora, and all of the guidelines that we have from the Ministry of Health and Te Aka Whai Ora. So instead of us just deciding, oh, we're going to use this process, it's actually grounded in the research and the tools that have been created by Māori in the health workforce who are, at the top of the game right now. So we didn't just make it up out of nowhere. We used the resources that are available to us and we just put it together. Is there any questions so far? Gosh, I feel like I'm just yabba already. Kapai, just carry on.
Yeah, Kapai, I think you've done a beautiful job of summarising that up and creating a bit of context for the koru and for the model itself, but prepare to be wowed with the content that comes next.
And before, just a wee disclaimer, if you're not using Canva, I would absolutely suggest that you use Canva as a way of getting your thoughts and your whakaaro and getting your team to be able to express what you need to express in a more creative way.
Nice.
Our policies don't have to be a one-page A4 portrait style, 12 font. We don't have to present our whakaaro like that. We're now we have opportunities with technology to present things like this and really new and interesting and just with a bit of vitality in them, I guess. Policies don't have to be boring. Policies can actually be super exciting and be really creative. So that's just a little side note. Okay, so we'll start in the middle of our koru. Now, obviously, we're not saying that your skills and development only start when you enter the health workforce. You already have a whole lifetime of experiences as a person that people are bringing into the workforce to start with. So talking about scholarships, we know that getting Māori into the workforce has challenges. If you watch the news, which we all will, keeping up to date with health, starting in the health sector is really challenging. So we know about training nurses who don't get paid over their time that they are doing their placements in hospitals. We know that non-clinical Māori in the health workforce start at the bottom and often stay there for a really long time because there isn't those opportunities to develop those extra skills in our Māori staff, because sometimes there's only one or two within a whole workforce, and it's really hard to create a team and a movement when you have so few. So you'll see here we have connected to Te Tiriti o Waitangi. You will also notice that these are the kupu from the PHOs bill. So if you're not familiar with the new way of describing our obligations to Te Tiriti o Waitangi, we're past the protection, participation, I can't even remember it now, the 3 Ps. We've moved on from there now, and actually we've added in more depth. And when I say we, I mean Te Ao Māori, not me personally. So when you're using the 3 Ps or you're using references to Te Tiriti o Waitangi, we need to go back to the PHOs bill and go back to these 5 commitments to Te Tiriti o Waitangi. So if you're not using that, then that is the first step for you as a workforce. So we're using, the new terminology, or Te Tiriti o Waitangi. We're using whakamaua, so specifically pulling things out, and he koro wai oranga. So if we go to the next slide, Jess. Now you'll all get a copy of this if you haven't already, so don't worry about writing everything down. So GPNZ endorses Kia Ora Hauora. So Kia Ora Hauora is a organisation, a service that goes into schools and gets people into the Māori workforce. They provide scholarships, they provide support, they provide mentoring. And so if you are looking at building your Māori workforce, there is specific scholarships for people at school or school leavers, but there are also scholarships and support available for people coming into the workforce later in their life. So that is where GPNZ and Ngā Matapihi o Te Wairua suggest that you start if you're wanting to support with bringing more Māori into the workforce. Is there any questions about that so far? I can see that people are writing comments in the kōrero, and this is great, Jess. What I'll get you to do is just keep those, and then we can maybe create a doc and then respond to those, because already I can see like, oh my gosh, yes, that's amazing, that's amazing. So adding your stuff into this will be beautiful. Okay, next part.
My favourite.
So, recruitment and selection. This is going to be, or this will be, a massive part of your role as a people and culture specialist. And there are specific things that you can consider when you are advertising for a role. One thing I want to just mention is that Māori are not only suited to roles that are tagged for Māori. Okay, so when we have roles such as receptionists or EAs or any of those other roles as well, it's important to have these whakaaro in the recruitment and selection for all of your roles, not just for the roles that are for Māori. I think that's really important, because what can happen sometimes in a workforce is that you have your, what is still being called mainstream, and then on the side you have your Māori staff, and they are all focusing on your Māori services that you have within your organisation. So ensuring that there's Māori representation across your organisation and that they are supported in those roles is really important. So the focus here, though, is on supporting our Māori in the health workforce to ensure that we're getting them in and that we have really robust and vibrant policies and guidelines that ensure that we get to see the very best of our Māori candidates, and that they have an opportunity to show us, like we talked about before, the dual capabilities that all Māori have when getting into the workforce. So you'll see that the structure of this document is the same all the way through. So we have the overview. You'll see in the top left corner where our little dots are with the different colours, that we're at this part of the journey, which is red, but there are 2 pages to each of them. First page is the overview, the connection to Te Tiriti o Waitangi, Whakamaua and He Koro Wai Oranga. So that is your basis. If you were creating this in your own PHO, then you would have in there your own PHO values that will have been created in partnership with Māori. So you would have your own ones in there. You would also have how iwi or people in your area, mana whenua of your area, are included in this process, or what is important to the iwi that you are running your service through would be included. So this isn't a stock standard for everybody. This is an example so that you can go away and create your own. Kia ora, Jess, next part. Okay, so when we are advertising for roles, there are some things that we can add to that process if we haven't already, that can grow the pool of applicants for any role. So for example, using the mana whenua, using the iwi in your area, what this could mean is connecting with them, asking if they have a Facebook page, for example, and sharing a Seek ad to your iwi so that they can put the ad on their on their Facebook page. So little things like this, instead of just doing it through Seek, there are lots of opportunities to share a role if you're really wanting to recruit diversity. If your role is asking for a really high competence of Te Reo Māori, then you might want to write your ad in Te Reo Māori so that it's really obvious that if you are someone who can read this, then you're someone who might have the skills to apply for this role. So we can write applications in English and in Māori. And for some people that might be, oh my gosh, I'd never even thought of writing an ad in Māori, and you might need support to do that. But that's another way of honouring Te Reo Māori and having an opportunity for people who do have a high level of reo to see themselves working for an organisation that has put in the effort to write it in Te Reo Māori, if that makes sense. Does it? Yeah. Ka pai. So yeah, advertising, you will need to have an internal recruitment process that has these things included in it. So you'll be able to read through. I'm not going to read it all out because we will run out of time. Selection guidelines. So the first one in here will make people go, oh, and you don't have to include it, but it's an interesting whakaaro to put out. So no matter what job you have advertised for, you could have a policy that says all Māori candidates who have applied will automatically advance to interview. Now, you don't have to have that as a policy, but it's a really interesting thing to think about. If we want more Māori in our workforce, then what are we doing to ensure that they have an opportunity to get in there? One thing that you may have heard a whakatauki is kore te kumara kōrero mō tōna reka. What that means is a kumara doesn't speak of how sweet it is. And that's about being humble. So for some Māori, and obviously, you know, if you meet someone who is Māori, you've met one Māori person. That doesn't mean that everybody is going to be the same there. So what it means is that Oh, sorry, I've totally forgotten my where I was going with that.
Kia ora is sweet.
Oh yes, kia ora. So that CVs or CVs are an opportunity to show off all of the amazing skills and experiences that you have had. For some Māori, that's really uncomfortable to write a whole cover letter going, oh my gosh, I'm amazing at this, and I'm this, and I'm this, and I'm this. So it's about how do we understand that that might be a whakaaro, and what can we do to ensure that there isn't a barrier to Māori applying for jobs. It also, in interviews, can be another thing. You know, me sitting there going, oh, well, I'm great at this and this and this and this is not something I probably would be comfortable doing, which means I may come across as less skilled or less experienced than someone who is confident, saying I was the head of this and I was this and here are all of my skills and you definitely need me because I'm amazing. So you might be able to see the differences in the approaches that interviewees might have coming into an interview. So that's when we put in the selection guidelines. So candidates are invited to bring whānau into support. So one of the reasons that this could be beneficial is that if I, for example, if I was being interviewed for a job, I might bring my wife with me, and we might start with a karakia and a waiata together, and then it might be my wife's opportunity to be able to kōrero mō taku reka. So, you know, if we work together, or you might bring the CEO from the place that you work at as your support person, as the person who can voice your amazingness without you having to feel whakama or feeling like a show-off. So that's one of the benefits of offering whānau to come in and be a part of an interview. So that could be something that you add into your recruitment process. Have you offered that? Another thing that you might want to offer in an interview, especially if it's for a high-profile Māori role, is to have someone on your panel who can kōrero Māori, so that the person being interviewed can communicate through the language that best suits them. So if you are really competent in te reo Māori, and that is the best way for you to talk about your skills and experience, then you should be able to do that in an interview. If you don't have someone on your panel who is able to speak Māori, then you need to get one, so that your candidate has the opportunity to be the best that they can be within that environment. Also, just the last thing, remember when we are employing any person, not just Māori, but specifically for Māori, we are employing a whole person. And a whole person means their whole whānau and their whole whakapapa. Gone are the days where you have your personal life and then you put that away, and then when you're at work from 8 till 5, you are just this professional person and you have to take off who you are to be able to perform your duty. What we need is an environment where we are looking after the whole person. So that means candidates, if you offer them a role, might need some time to talk through it with their whānau. If we say, can you let us know by tomorrow, if you've got a staff member with children or who need to have some organisation changes within their lifestyle, those things take time, and we need to be aware of that and provide an opportunity for whānau to be able to make those decisions together. Yeah, there's so many things that we could add in here. So these are just the small little snippets. Any questions about that so far? Let's head through. We'll try and get through the next two real quick. Okay, appraisals. So we want the process of appraisals to be really valuable and really enhancing the wholeness of your Māori staff. Again, the first page, we make sure that we are using the foundations that are already there for us. If we can go to the next page there, Jess. So we have developed an example appraisal that you can have a look at and take and use and develop in your own organisations. So even even the name appraisal already has a power dynamic attached to it. It's about someone who is higher than you having a conversation with you about how well you are doing and how much value you are adding to the organisation. Engari, we can bring more balance to these conversations so that it's mutually beneficial, so that both of the parties involved are able to express their needs, able to express their worries or their challenges, and then work towards how to grow both of the people or all of the people involved in the appraisal. So we came up with this, a new title. You don't have to use it. It's just a whakaaro. It's about changing our whakaaro. And we called it a hui whakanui. So, in one way, like, it's just got a cool ring to it. Come on, let's have a hui whakanui instead of, can you come to my office next week at 4 o'clock for your appraisal? Can you see the difference in the approach? It just is like, come on, you're here. We want an opportunity to celebrate all of the beautiful things about you. And it's an opportunity to bring up any things that are a bit sticky, a bit tricky. That should be all part of that. One thing that I want to add to just really quickly about appraisals is that there should be no surprises. That is something that is really important to me, is that when you are engaging in an appraisal, that the person that you are appraising or having the hui whakanui with isn't blindsided by an issue that you have had going on within that process. So those things need to be dealt with absolutely, but separately to the purpose of the appraisal or the hui whakanui. Does that sound sort of fair? You can understand, the differences? Yeah. Ka pai. So we just used for Māori values. If you like, you could use your own values. So what we did is just had some questions. So we'll just stop on that one, Jess, ko tahitanga. So down the columns, yourself. So I might offer the question, what do you think that your team values most about you? Then I would have the opportunity to say, well, I know that they value this, and I know that because they told me, or they sent me this email that said, oh my gosh, thank you for that. Your manager will then provide you feedback and might say, yeah, I absolutely agree. People have come to me and said that they really value the way that you show manaaki by, it could be little things, which actually aren't always little, but making sure there's enough chairs when you have a mihi whakatau, making sure that when you have manuhere come into a hui, that they're offered a cup of tea. So we're talking about sort of things that might seem basic, but actually those are the expressions of our identity in Te Ao Māori, and those little things actually can be and should be valued as much as the way that they write a Māori action plan. And we're going back to the dual capabilities and the dual expressions of ourselves. And then in the kōrero part, that's where we could think about, okay, so something, there are things that we could, what opportunities, so now I'm the interviewer or the appraiser, what opportunities could we provide so that you can show your areas of value to the team? Okay, so you're asking the people who you are appraising, what can I do as the person who is in a leadership role to give you opportunities to share your wholeness and your fullness and your experiences within this workplace? So that's just one question and one little example, but you can see how we're just growing and developing each step as we go. Then now down, if you just go down a little bit, from that core tahitanga kōrero, you might have a goal. So the goal could be, actually, I am a team member who works remotely. I'm not in the office a lot. So my goal, and I'm talking as the appraisee now, could be that I'm going to ensure because I want to grow my kōtahitanga, is that I'm going to come into the office once a week. And then so you're attaching the professional development to the kōrero and the goal. The strategy I'm going to use to get myself into the office every week is I'm going to put it in my diary, in my calendar, and I'm going to book in a hui so that my time in the office is strategically valued. And what evidence is it? Okay, well, I'm going to create a document for myself and with my lead that talks about the connections that I make when I go into the office on that once a week for that goal. So we're really trying to connect whakaaro Māori and Māori skills and experiences to the day-to-day running of your system and your organisation. So you have access to this document. Again, it was developed on Canva. Down the bottom of this document is what I was talking about before, the Te Tiriti o Waitangi. You could use that. You could use the mana, so mana to, so Te Tiriti o Waitangi is expressed in terms of mana. So you could use those 4 headings. You could use these 5 headings. That's up to you as an organisation to decide those things. But it's really important that through all of these processes, you have evidence that you are committed, like it will say in all of your documents, that you are committed to honouring Te Tiriti o Waitangi, but you need to show that you're actually doing it. And it's through these alternative ways of managing appraisals that you can ensure that that's a real authentic thing that is happening in your workplace, because it's really easy to write on a document, you know, te tiriti o Waitangi. Engari, what are the things that you are doing in your day-to-day practices that really acknowledge 180 years of repression, that acknowledge the whakapapa of Māori and what they bring, not just through them, but through their whole whānau to your workplace. And if you're not someone, or you don't have a team that you believe can truly understand that, then you need to get people in that do. Okay, so we know that the health workforce, there are a lot of challenges. But we need to make sure that within every organisation that there is someone in there who is Māori, who is capable of being a really brave ally, so that these alternative ways, but what I mean alternative, they're not alternative. I'm saying they're alternative to the colonised way of thinking. So what is the alternative to that, and who in your team can lead that, so that we have true partnership within our organisations. So there's some questions down there. Last thing, cultural safety. We know that Eri Hapati Ramsden was our first person to record her whakaaro around cultural safety. Lots of organisations have different have come to their cultural safety, cultural competency, whatever you are going to call it within your organisation. There are lots of different ones that we've put here as an example. So I think it'll be beautiful now, Jess. I'm going to throw back to you to talk about the process of creating a cultural competency, cultural safety. There's lots of words for it. One word that I like to use instead of cultural competency or cultural safety is tiriti led. Yeah, one thing I think that is missing from the term cultural competency is any mention of te ao Māori. So I like tiriti focused or tiriti led, but that's going to be up to your organisation and the person who is the lead of your Māori half, and it should be your Māori half of your organisation, to be involved in developing your statement. So sorry, Jess, I will throw back to you so you can talk about your process.
Yeah, kia ora. So Ngā Matapihi o Te Wairua have been working on a cultural safety statement for GPNZ to have as an organisation. So it started with the work that Marama's been doing around kind of looking at the history, the whakapapa of cultural safety, and then developing that further in a whole lot of different ways. But one of the key parts of us establishing this statement was our wānanga that we had in Waitangi in August with Ngā Matapihi o Te Wairua, which is the Hauhora Māori leads from the PHOs, alongside the CEOs and the GPNZ executive. And we had a workshop led by Hamaima Reihana Tate, and we looked and we discussed and we had a really awesome, authentic kōrero about what it really means to our organisation, to primary care, and how do we kind of evolve in this space. Now, Ngā Matapihi are nearly there with finalising the statement, so it's still in draft and hoping that we'll have it ready by the end of the week to be able to include in the resource pack. But I thought I would just share with you kind of where we're at the moment. So it's got a little bit of a purpose around why do we need a cultural safety statement, and the Rōpu's been quite solid on making sure that there's really good whakapapa and context to the statement, and then it goes into the statement around providing culturally safe environments for whānau, and then using the different principles to, I guess, express how we enact that and how we support that. So the statement will become available to PHOs to, again, adopt, like a lot of our other kaupapa that we've done under national level, but you can also adapt it, like Marama said, to reflect your organisation's tikanga kaua and the way in which you do things in your area. So we're hoping that this will be another really awesome resource for the PHO network, for general practice, to be able to lean into and be able to get some really good kind of guidance and support and api from here. A big part of the work that Ngā Matapihi has done over the last 2 years has been trying to reduce duplication across PHO network and support an awhi Hauhora Māori work stream. So instead of there being 30 different cultural safety statements, there'd be one that you can kind of, you know, adapt and share and evolve to meet your organisation's needs, taking some of that workload and that density and that thinking away from our Hauhora Māori leads, who are often the busiest people in our PHOs. So yeah, just wanted to provide a little bit of whakapapa about where we got to. It's been really awesome doing this in partnership with our PHO CEOs and the GPNZ exec. That kōrero was a really transformational kōrero in the way in which we operate our organisation and the way in which we're looking forward to the future at GPNZ. So it's been a really awesome journey to get here, and thank you to Marama for kind of starting the wave and the trend. So back to you, Ehua.
Kia ora koutou. Okay, so our time is nearly up. What I would love to, I'll just give you, write this down because I haven't actually sent it to Jess, but Te Radar, who you might have, you will have seen him on TV as a comedian and stuff. So if you go on YouTube and type in HR chats, so HR and then chats with Te Radar, there's a 3-part series that he hosts with someone called Carly, which is Karli, Carly Te Aotonga, and that's she's someone that I know. My cousin, she is the mother of my cousin's bubbers, and that's a 3-part series, less than 20 minutes each, and I would really suggest that in your own time that you sit down and have a listen to the whakaaro of Carly. She talks about Māori ancestral leadership qualities, which is something that you could look into to ensure that you are valuing the things that Māori value as opposed to valuing the things that have always been valued. And if we carry on valuing the things that always have been valued, then we're always going to have the same system. If we value things that are important in Te Ao Māori and our ancestral leadership qualities, and we look at things from a different perspective as a whole person who is connected to the whenua, who is connected to their whānau, then we will be able to create a new way of being. And if we can create new ways of being, we can create a whole new system. Ne? And it just takes us to be really brave. It takes us to be connected, and it takes us to be just really out there with our whakaaro, and really out there with our questions about how can we make this better for Māori and for Aotearoa as a whole within our health system. So I will finish my kōrero there and throw back to you, Jess, or anybody. I'm guessing that you will put all this together and send it back out to everybody, Jess?
Yeah, so there is a couple places you'll be able to find these documents. So all of the working documents and where we got to is sitting in the Ngā Matapihi o Te Wairua Teams folder. So your Hauhura Māori lead from your PHO will have access to kind of the more nitty gritty, the word files, all that kind of stuff in there. As Marama said, this is all being done in Canva. So if you've got an organisation Canva account, you can just let us know and we can share this to that account, and then you'll be able to get it, put your logo on it, take what you need from it, and kind of evolve it as you require. So just feel free to reach out and we can pass that on to you. But because maybe some of you will be new to the GPNZ environment, what we will do is we'll create an HR PHO, people and culture, not HR, we're going to call it a people and culture rōpū on Teams, so that you can connect, you can share, you can kōrero to each other, and we'll put the resources up in there. But that will also give you access to what we call our member portal at GPNZ, which looks like this, and it has a whole lot of upcoming events. It's got a whole lot of mahi updates of things that have been coming through. It's got some stuff from the media that's relevant to primary healthcare. It's got our rōpū kind of pages, which is where they hang out and do all their mahi. And it's got a whole lot of different bits and pieces around the GPNZ rōpū. It's got some information about our organisation at GPNZ, how we're structured and who we are within our organisation. It talks about our mahi, which we've kind of seen a little bit on the homepage. But in this shared resources and shared resource library, I have put the Ngā Matapihi o Te Wairua resources here, and you can come in here and you can see the PDF versions of the Hui Whakanui guidelines and the workforce model. So they're sitting in the SharePoint environment. So in the next 24 hours, you'll get access to this place. You'll be able to use the website and then just save it to your favourite spa, and then you'll be able to kind of jump in and out of there as you need to access some of the resources that GPNZ's been producing to hopefully support and awhi the PHO network. So hopefully you find that resource really helpful and really keen for your feedback on it. Yeah, that's all for us today. I'm going to open the floor. I know we're bang on 11 o'clock, but does anyone have any whakaaro they want to share before we close out with karakia?
Not a whakaaro, but just a mihi to Marama and GPNZ and yourself, Jess, for the awesome mahi. Looking forward to further kōrero. Ngā mihi.
Ngā mihi. And back to you, Justine, your input into our cultural safety stuff has been so valuable. Yeah, we missed you. We miss your input into our mahi a lot. You've been absolutely valuable to our org over that last couple of years.
Ngā mihi, Jess. I miss it too.
Kia ora.
Last thing, I just want to jump in, if it's okay, just to let you know that I don't know if this is inappropriate, but engari, I'm going to say it anyway. From next year, I am available to work with other PHOs. We can, do one-on-one sessions, or I can help, like I did with GPNZ and Ngā Matapihi. As a contractor, a consultant, I will be available. So I will get Jess to you've probably seen me on the email stream anyway, but just use my Gmail one, not Waitaha, because any mahi, through this, I'm just a contractor with them, so they wouldn't pay for me to work with you, if that makes sense. That was just the last wee thing I thought I'd chuck out there in case any of you need any extra support. Kia ora.
Hi. Wairua, did you have any reflections? I know that this is your favourite topic in the world, workforce and primary care.
No, I'm just looking forward to more kōrero and hoping that we can just keep connecting this raupu and expanding it. There's so much we can do together. And thank you everybody for your time today.
Ngā mihi. Kia ora. All right, well, hopefully this isn't goodbye for too long. We'll connect you all via Microsoft Teams and try and create a bit more of a community for all of the HR people and culture leads from across PHOs to be able to maintain and support and up each other. So really proud of us being able to come and bring you all together today, and I really hope that it is helpful within your mahi going forward into the 2024 and beyond. But closing us out with karakia, ngā mihi marama, you're an amazing presenter, so engaging. I don't think I got sidetracked at all throughout that kōrero, and I've listened to it about 3 times. So absolutely acknowledge you and the mahi that you've done for us at GPNZ. All right, closing us out with karakia. Whakamaua te kōrero, whakamaua te wānanga, whakamaua kia rangi nui e tu iho nei, whakamaua kia papatuanuku e taku tō aki nei, whakatina ki te tunga o te maramatanga kia tina. Tina. Tai.
Tai ki e.
Tai ki e. Ka ki te koutou.
Ka ki te whānau.
Thanks, Marama.
Ka ki te.